Hey everybody, IronFury here, and we're taking a little break from Kirby today, and I'm gonna add this to a playlist I put up yesterday called One-Offs, and this playlist is basically for games that are too short to have their own series, and yeah, so anyway, we'll start off by playing Donkey Kong, and of course I shouldn't have to explain how Donkey Kong works. I think most of you are old enough that you've played this game at least 70 billion times. And, yeah. Wow, that was close. You know, for Kirby Superstar, I'm actually, waiting before I put up the next episode of that. And for those of you who are in my Facebook group, you know why. For those of you who aren't, first off, why aren't you on my Facebook group? And secondly, well, I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. Anyway, moving on to the next level, I guess. And yeah, these one-offs are basically just for me to kind of relax, not put as much work into, you know, doing these like I would with a regular episode of IronFury Plays. But, also it's just kind of a break, you know, from the bigger projects, which, you know, sometimes even I need. And, wow, that was close too. Anyway. So, yeah. Like I said, though, these are primarily for games that are too short to have their own series, or just wouldn't necessarily work on having their own series. Like arcade games, for example, like this. You know, based off of an arcade game, and it technically, even though this is the final level of this game, it's technically the kind of game that keeps repeating itself. And I really wouldn't know how to handle putting it into a full-blown series without it getting repetitive as fuck, so that's why it's part of the one-offs. And this level's pretty easy, you just gotta jump over these. Actually, you could also just walk over them. I just jump over them just because it's a force of habit, really. And with this final one up here, that should cover that, and Donkey Kong will now fall to his doom. Or at least into a giant migraine headache. And with that, we saved, what's-her-face, Paulina. But never mind that shit. We're now gonna move on to Donkey Kong Jr. And, you know, I'm gonna put all the NES Donkey Kong games into this one video. Because they're fairly short, you know, as far as how many actual levels are in the game. But yeah, it's also kind of a chance for me to just bullshit. Now, of course, Donkey Kong Jr. is a lot different from the original Donkey Kong in a few ways. First off, you're playing as Donkey Kong with Mario as the antagonist. Or you're playing as Donkey Kong Jr. anyway. And Donkey Kong Jr.'s mechanics are a little different. He can climb up vines. And if he's holding two vines at the same time, he'll climb up faster, but climb down slower. And if he's holding one vine, he'll climb up slower and climb down faster. And I hate this fucking spring. The timing on this thing is so awkward. And you have no control once you're on it, so you can start doing double bounces, and I forgot to jump. I admit Donkey Kong Jr. is actually harder than Donkey Kong. A lot harder, but not really, oh my god, so difficult that you can't beat it, you know? But there's definitely a learning curve. So yeah, I'm basically just taking a break from Kirby for the time being. And I figure these one-offs would also be a good way for me to give you content on the days that I normally don't really give content. You guys know I normally don't upload videos on Wednesdays or Fridays or Saturdays. But I figured this would be a good way to give you guys that content. It doesn't necessarily require me to do any narrating either. You know, I could just upload the gameplay itself, and I think that would count. But, you know, I could always put annotations or something like that. Or my own little subtitles. And it's really easier for me to do that, and I hate those fucking sparks. But anyway, it's easier for me to do that, you know, on the days that I don't, you know, normally upload. But, you know, since I happen to have a little bit of time to myself here, that's why I'm narrating this video, and it gives you an idea of, you know, the future of this channel and what's to come. And by the way, I will take ideas for, you know, if you got short arcade games for me to look at or whatever. And I already have a few videos in the one-offs playlist, and those are videos from the TheGamesNight channel, including, I also put in the Christmas special I did of Dusty Rhodes Plays Mortal Kombat. So, if you want to check that playlist out, by all means go ahead, and this is also going to go into that playlist. And any other future shorties like this, you know, they'll go in there too. Now, of course, this is the end of Donkey Kong Jr. And we basically got to push these keys up into the locks. You also got to watch out for the birds, and you got to watch out for these little guys, the chomping lizard gator things. I don't remember what they're called. Really, though, if you want to play a game in this series, my recommendation would be the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong, which to me is the best version. I did a Let's Play of that for the TheGamesNight. If you know, don't recall, you can actually watch that playlist on my channel, or you can just go to the TheGamesNight itself. But that's going to be the end for Donkey Kong Jr., and now we're going to move on to Donkey Kong 3, which is very different from the previous two. You got Donkey Kong here in this little plant, you know, this greenhouse, I guess. And we play as this plant keeper, who's basically using pesticides on Donkey Kong, and he's also got to protect these plants from the bugs that are coming to steal them. And yeah, it's okay. It's not the most amazing game ever by any stretch, but it's at least fun for short burst gaming. And like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., it also just keeps repeating until the end of time, so... Of course, that orange pesticide that we have now has a farther reach, making it a little easier to actually hit Donkey Kong to the top. And that's pretty much the whole point of this. You gotta keep shooting Donkey Kong until he hits the top of the screen. So anyway, yeah. Some of those videos are from the TheGamesNight. You can check that channel out, although my good buddy James has that channel pretty much on lockdown at the moment. Not necessarily lockdown, but he's got that channel covered for now, because he's got his own content that he's throwing on there. And, you know, go check it out. Anyway, I might even link to that channel, and yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even bother getting past this level. I get a game over here. So yeah, that's I guess I kind of took this time to give you an update, but I'm going to throw it in the one-off section anyway. Just to give you, this is just kind of giving you an idea of what's to come on this channel. And just the kind of shit I can do in between runs and during runs, you know. It's also, like I said, just a way to relax and kind of take a bit of a break from the bigger projects. And that's going to do it, because I got a game over here. And until next time, take care.